So we'll look at bit upon Microsoft Office, okay? This is a very important topic in exam. So we have already discussed earlier, so Microsoft Office is one of the most commonly used programming software, right? So when we talk about MS Office or Microsoft Office, we have to remember that it is not a single software, okay, or single program. Within that Microsoft Office package, we have a number of softwares, okay? So the most common among those are, we have 5 softwares, okay? It's a collection of 5 softwares. We have the MS Word, right? MS Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Access, and Microsoft Outlook, okay? So these are the 5 softwares or 5 programs within the MS Office package, okay? So each of these software have a definite function, okay? On what purpose we want to use, these are separate, okay? So when we talk about MS Word, we have what is known as the word processing, right? We simply call it as the word processing software. So we use it for creating different types of Word document, right? If you want to create a spreadsheet, we'll use the MS Excel, right? If you want to create a presentation, PowerPoint presentation, we will use the MS PowerPoint. If you want to create a database, and manage it, then we'll use the MS Access, okay? And MS Outlook is the email, right? So these are the 5 softwares or 5 programs that are included within the MS Office package, okay? And this is also known as the reason why it is known as the Office, no, Microsoft Office, is because they were primarily developed for Office work, okay? Although today we use it in of course, we use it in Office also, but we use it everywhere, right? We use it during our student life, during our college life, all throughout our life. So this was originally known as Microsoft Office because of its purpose in the Office work, okay? And this Microsoft Office was developed in the year 1988, okay? So we'll try to look at each of these software one after another, okay? So yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. Initially, what happened is that we used to buy those Microsoft Office software, right? We used to buy it, install it, right? Or we just had to use the hack version also. But these days we have what is known as the the version that these days they developed is the Microsoft 365, okay? So here we don't need to, buy and install it in the computer system, okay? So it is a form of cloud computing, right? I've discussed with a bit also. So we can just go to the Microsoft 365 page. We can, pay the premium, okay? You buy it. Of course, that part is, it is not an open source software, right? So we have to buy it. So we buy it and then we can use all of these things, okay? Without needing to install it in your computer system, right? So that is why Microsoft 365 is seen as an example of cloud computing, okay? You just go to this website, then you just purchase it, log in, and then you use all of these softwares that are available within the Microsoft 365 website, okay? Now, the most famous among the within the Microsoft Office also is the Microsoft Word, okay? So in a nutshell or in a simple term, it is used for creating Word document, okay? So it is called a Word document, of course, but we can add different types of, pictures and everything, okay? We can edit it in so many ways. So here what we can do is we can edit, right? We can format, we can print, all these, all those actions are available within the Microsoft Word, okay? And generally, these things are limited to 45 KB, okay? Now, in office, during our school, we make projects. In office, we make any type of document, we're using the Microsoft Word. And even in commercial purposes, like when we go for making birthday cards, wedding cards, brochure, then posters, newsletters, all those things use the Microsoft Word, okay? So it is a very versatile software. And like I mentioned, if you create a Microsoft Word document, the extension will be .docx, okay? So any document or any file which has a .docx means that it is a Microsoft Word file, okay? Now, this is what a typical Microsoft Windows will look like, okay? Or have the page, if you open a Microsoft Word, you will get something like this. Now, each of these, you will see that within the Microsoft Windows, or if you open the Microsoft page, Microsoft Word, you will see it will open to something like this, okay, to a window like this. Now, we have a number of functions within the Microsoft uh, Word, okay? It's applicable to Microsoft Excel and MS PowerPoint also, but there a little bit of variation is there, okay? Now, if you look at the different components within the MS Word, you will see that the first and foremost is what is known as the title bar, okay? So it shows what is the name of the document, okay? So you will see that the name of the document, for example, here, the name of the document is document 1, right? So it will be document 1, right? .docx, right? Because docx is the file extension for a Microsoft Word document, right? So the title bar will give you the name of the file, okay? As well as since it also shows the extension, so it will also show you what type of, software it is, what type of application it is, right? So now within the title bar, you will see that there are 3 control buttons, right? So these are the 3 control buttons: minimize, right? A simple dash, maximize, right? And close button, okay? So minimize it won't close the application, okay? Your MS Word document, it won't close it. It will just reduce the size for some time, okay? Maximize means to show it full, right? For the entire screen, that will be maximize, and then close will automatically close the particular windows, okay? So if you click on this close button, it will close the file, okay? So so on the top, we have the title bar, okay? Next comes what is known as the menu bar. So below this, we have uh, this section, right? So this section is known as the menu bar, okay? So below the title bar, we have the menu bar. So within the menu bar, you can see that there are a number of functions within the menu bar, okay? So we have the home, insert, page layout, references, mailings, reviews, views, right? So these are located within the title bar, okay? I think it's not given here. So this is the title bar. So all the different types of editing or whatever things you want to do within your document, you can do it with the help of this, okay? Next comes is the ribbon, okay? Uh, Click on any one of the options in if you click on any one of the options in the menu bar, they will open the ribbon, okay? This section is known as the ribbon, okay? So within each of these options within the menu bar, there is the ribbon, right? So here we have if you see the picture, they have click on the home, right? And within the home, you can see the font name, font size, bold, italic, underline, superscript, subscript, underline. These are the options that are available. Okay. Similarly, if you look at the page layout, you can see the type of margins that they want to leave, how many columns that you want to take in your okay. Those are the options that are available. Okay. So all those things together constitute the ribbon. Okay. Now this part is the writing portion. Okay. This part is the writing portion. We call it the text area. So whatever things you type, it will go inside the text area. Okay. Now we have the document information, right? This is also known as the current page location. Okay. This is also known as the current page location. So this will give you, see here we have page 1 of 1 only, right? So which means that the document has only one page, but sometimes the document may have so many pages. So this will show you if you're in the 30 page then, and out of 50 pages, they will show you page 30 of 50. Okay. So this will show you your location. Okay. Where your cursor is currently. That is the one they will show you, right? And here also here we have the words. This shows how much words are there in that document, right? Now here we have the view button. Okay. Now this view button gives different types in which you can view your document. Okay. So sometimes uh, we'll talk about one by one. So sometimes all the pages will be shown together, okay, in your screen. Sometimes only one pages will be shown at the time. Sometimes two pages will be shown in a. So these are the view buttons, okay. So it helps us to. These are different options in which we can view our file, okay. Then we have our zoom control, right? So this is just for zooming in only. Now we have the vertical ruler, right? And there is the horizontal ruler also. So these are the two types of rulers, and the main purpose of rulers is to give spacing only, okay, from where you want to start your paragraph and all, right? Then here we have the browse button. So this is a scroll only. Then we have the tab selector. So this is for keeping the tab only, okay. Apart from this, there's the top, you'll see the office button, right? And then we have the office button is mainly for saving and this and that, okay, saving your file, printing, those thing options you can see, or you can just directly use the shortcut from your keyboard also, okay. This part is also known as the formatting toolbar, okay. Formatting toolbar. So this is, it just gives you the different ways in which you can format your text document only, right? And yeah. So these are the this is how a typical components in a Microsoft Word will look like, okay? So with the help of the primary functions in editing comes within this, okay? Within this ribbon and the menu bar, right? Menu bar and the ribbon, okay? So here they have given ribbon tabs, okay? So it is the same as menu bar only. So within these two, all the editing options comes, okay? When you say editing, how you want to edit your text files, right? So all these options will come out, okay? Um, now, let's discuss a bit on the. So on this section, okay, we know that that section is known as the, we'll discuss a little bit on this section, okay? This section, okay? The menu bar. So in the menu bar, on the new one. So like I said, in the menu bar, you will find a number of options, right? So each of these options is known as a tab, okay? So we have the home tab, we have the insert tab, we have the page layout tab, the references tab, then we have the mailings tab, then we have the review tab and view tab, okay? So if you look at the menu bar, you will see all of these options, okay? Home, insert, page layout, references, mailings, reviews, and view, right? So these are the various tabs you can find in the menu bar, okay? Now, if you click on any of these tab in the menu bar, it will give rise to a number of, it will give you a specific ribbon, right? Okay, the options that is below the menu bar, right? So if you click on home button, you will see things like clipboard, okay? The font, what type of font that you want to use, paragraph, styles, editing. These are the options that will be in the ribbon, okay? Within the home tab. Now, if you click on the insert tab, it will have things like pages, tables, illustrations, header and footer, text, symbols, okay? So header and footer are just like, for example, if you want, you're writing a document, okay? And in that document, you want to add what do you call it? Page number, right? So if you want to write page number and if you want to put it at the bottom, it is the footer, okay? And if you want to put it at the top, it is the header. Or sometimes you want to put the heading in all the page, okay? For example, you're writing a book called, basics of computer, and you want the topic basics of computer printed at the top on each of this page. So you can do it through the header, okay? So header and footer function is that, okay? On the top of the page or on the bottom of the page, right? So page numbers, the title of the document, these are things that we usually include in the header and the footer, okay? Now, if you look at the page layout tab, now you will see things like themes, page setup, page background, paragraph, okay? Here, primarily references mail. In references, you will have things like citations, bibliography, citations, footnotes, in-text, captions, don't over there. So mailing tabs will primarily deal with the issue of mail, okay? If you want to create or start a mail, or you want to merge and write those things, then you will find the mail, okay? In the mailing tab, okay? Then review tab there, proofing, comments. Those are the options that are available. And view, you will have the show, zoom, windows. These are the options in that ribbon that you can see, okay, if you click on the view tab. So here you just remember the most important are the home tab, insert tab, and page layout, okay? So these are the primarily what we do is primarily we use these three tabs more, okay? So most of the editing and most of the changes that you want to do it comes within these three tabs. Okay. Now, if you click on that home tab, you know, you can do different things. You can change the type of font that you want to use, right? The font size that you want to use, underline, you can bold it, you can italics it. If you want to put it on the, uh, center alignment, left alignment, right alignment, these are the things that are option available within the home tab, okay? Of course, all of these things can be done in shortcut also, right? But if you want to use this directly, then you can do these things. If you have the insert, if you click on the insert tab, you can do different things like you can insert a table, you can insert table, you can insert different types of tags, header and footer can be also inserted, different types of symbols which are not available on the keyboard, right? There are lots of symbols which is not there in the keyboard. Those are the things you can include through the insert tab, okay? And in the page layout tab, you can do different things like page setup, background, uh, I think if even the watermarking portion is there. So these are the three most important tab, okay? So in exam time, they may ask if so they want to ask something from you, they may ask you like if you want to add a header and footer, if you want to add a header and footer in a Word document, which tab would you click, right, within the menu bar? So your answer should be insert tab, right? So you just try to at least remember these three, okay? A little bit of these three out of these 6 or 7, not the prep. If you can learn, then it's okay. If you can learn, then it's good to learn everything. But if you have limitation then of time, then you can at least go through these three tabs a bit, okay? Then we have the ruler. So ruler is very simple. You will find it at the horizontal, vertical ruler as well as the horizontal ruler, yeah, which we can move. Now, this is the document, right? So generally we leave spaces on, automatically we leave spaces on left and right, top and button also, right? Because even the printer function is such that the printer can't print all the way from here to there also, right? So how much page that you want, how much space that you want to leave it on the left and the right side, on the top and a button can be done with the help of the ruler function, okay? So we have the horizontal ruler, which will leave space on the left and the right, and the vertical ruler, which will leave space on the top and the button, okay? So the portion of the, uh, this portion, where we actually write, this is known as the text area, right? I've mentioned you. Sometimes it is also known as the work area, okay? Or it is also known as the workplace, okay? Workplace. So any one of these words can be used to describe this section, okay? Where we actually type, right? Uh, within the MS Word document, we can, like I mentioned, we can do a lot of functions, okay? So what we generally use the Microsoft Word is that we use it for text editing. So this is very common, right? We edit different types of document, right? We insert, we delete, we add, we modify it. These are the different ways in which you can do, right? And so text editing, formatting the text. Another way we can, so these are almost similar. Text editing means just, to write something more or to remove certain part of the text. Then format text is the one where we actually use different types of style for editing, right? Then we use the something called indentation, right? Now, so here, so suppose this is the page, okay? Now, what happened is this is where we write, right? This is the section where we actually type. The words get inserted in this section, right, within the page. Now, there's a certain distance between, these are known as the text boundaries, okay, within which we actually write, na? Text boundaries. So, what the border within which do we actually write the text is known as the uh, uh, page word which where we actually write is known as the text boundaries, right? That now this is the we actually write here because the margin has been set here, right? The margin has been set here. Now, what we can do is sometimes we can leave certain space here, right? Instead of writing starting from, instead of starting the word from here, we can start from here, right? And the entire paragraph we can uh, wait, okay. Now, this is the text boundaries and this is the margin within which we write, right? Now, usually what happens is we write it like this, right? Paragraph. Now, suppose you want to just write it in this manner, okay? This space that we have, this is known as the indentation, okay? So it is an editing tool only. So which allows us to leave certain space and write, okay? I hope it is clear. So indentation is simply the uh, distance between text boundaries and page margins, okay? So it is a bit similar to things like page margin and all, right? Page margin also, it leaves certain space around the actual text area, right? So when we say indentation, it simply means the distance between the text boundaries, which is this area, right? Which is this area, and the page margin, right? So it allows us to, separate a certain paragraph, okay, while writing. So that is the main purpose why we use the uh, indentation, okay? Now, when we talk about indentation, the best way to see is the ruler, okay? In the ruler, you will see this is the top of the ruler, right? You will see something like this, right? Uh, something like this, okay? So this is the indentation marker, okay? Or the intent marker. INT. With the help by dragging this thing, you can actually use for indentation, right? Now, when we talk about indentation, there are three types of indentation, okay? First is the first line indent marker, okay? Shows like this is the first line indent marker, okay? So if you drag it and push it to the left side or the right side, it will indent the first line, okay? Only the first line. Next one is, this is the second, the middle portion, okay? That is the upright triangle. It is the hanging indent marker. The third one is the hanging intent marker, and the last one is the left in. Now, each of this indentation, like I mentioned, first line intent marker will push the first line, okay, to the left or the right side, right? What the hanging one will do is that it will push or move all the lines except the first one, right? And the left intent the entire paragraph, okay, from the left margin. So this is for the entire paragraph. So like I mentioned, this is for first line. This is every line except the first, okay? And this one, entire paragraph. Now, suppose usually what happens is when we change the paragraph, you leave a certain space and then write, right? A, B, C, D, F, G, H. Then you go like this, right? H, I, J, K. So if you want to leave this, that certain space in it at the beginning of the first line, that you will go for you will click on this and drag it, okay? The inverted triangle icon, huh? So this is known as the first line intent. Suppose you want to indent every line except the first one, okay? Which means every line will start, the first line will start from the margin, but the rest will be indented, right? So in this case, you will use the hanging indent mark, okay? And if you want to move all the paragraph to with a certain space, then you will use the left indent marker, okay? I hope this is clear now. So it's much easier to show it in a computer, type it and show it, but since we are teaching it online and then it's very difficult to actually show how it works, right? But you just remember that these three cursor, right? The icons, not cursor, the three icons, which are the three types of indent marker, okay? Which has separate purpose. So we were talking about the features of Microsoft Word, right? Which allows it for different purpose. So apart from this, we also have things like orientation, right? Page orientation. How you want to see, you can see it in the landscape mode, or you can see it in the portrait mode, right? So these are the different options available. We have the spell check also. Now, if you have typed, so in MS Word, if you have clicked a word and that word is not spelled correctly, based on American dictionary only, American way of spelling, so they will give you a red line, right? They will give you the word will be underlined red, which shows that you can, that the word has not been spelled correctly, okay? So what you can simply do is you can click on the right button on the mouse and then see the list of options that they will suggest, okay? And then you can correct it. Sometimes they will give you a green underline, right? Generally, a phrase or a part of a sentence, which shows that green underline means the structuring of your sentence is not correct, okay? Your grammatical or the syntax of the language has not been followed correctly, which, so what they will do is they will underline it green, okay? And this shows that, and then again, you can click on the right side of the button on the mouse, and then they will give you certain recommendation and then you can correct it, okay? So red line is for spelling, green line is for grammatical error or syntax error, okay? So MS Word also offers thesaurus, okay? Now TSAU. So thesaurus will give, it's just a word, it's like in dictionary is thesaurus is like dictionary only, okay? So dictionary, in what happens in dictionary, it give you the meaning of the word, right? But if you have a thesaurus, it will give you a synonyms, okay? So if you can even buy the thesaurus, okay, along with your dictionary. So they will just give you the synonyms, okay, the words that have similar meanings, a list of words, okay? Then you can put bulleting and numbering, right? Bulleting or numbering. So numbering will be like 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So these are the different types of numbering system that is available in MS Word, right? For bullet system, we have things like the dot, we have tick mark, right? We have arrows. So these are the different types of bullet option, okay? Then we have the options of graphics, okay? So graphics means you can put pictures, right, in your MS Word. These are the different types of features that you can use in an MS Word. So of course, it's not limited to these only. There are so many features, okay? So these are just few of the features that you can see in the MS Word, okay? Now, something one function known as the alignment, okay? Now, while writing any text, okay? So see, there are three options are available, okay? In an alignment, okay? In left, so the left, oh, there are four options, sorry. Right, center, and justified, okay? So these are the four types of alignments that you can see in a MS Word document, right? If you have a left alignment, right, everything will start from the left, okay? So this will be a straight line. So this is what your sentences and words will look like, okay? So if you have a left alignment, the space on the left will be fixed, okay? This space will be fixed throughout, okay? That is what a left alignment is, right? And then depending upon the sentence and the words, this will not be in perfect line, okay, on the right side. So this has been aligned to the left, okay? Opposite to left is the right alignment, okay? Now, if you have a right alignment, the words and the sentences, there will be a specific space on the right side, okay? This space will be maintained on the right side because it has been aligned on the right side, okay? So this is right alignment, okay? If you have a center alignment, you have a very symmetrical along the center, okay? Symmetrical. So now the sentences will be looking like this. It will be symmetrical. These are the words, okay? These are sentences. The dash are the lines, okay? So this is what the center alignment will actually look like. Means there will be symmetrical on either side, okay? And the left side and the right side, there is no specific spacing, right? Because everything has been centered. And what happens in justified is that everything will be the left side space and the right side will be adjusted by the computer in such a way that there is equal spacing on both the left side and the right side, okay? So these are the four types of alignment that you can find, okay? So in shortcut, what you can do is, of course, if you look at the menu bar, okay? If you look at the menu bar and go for the, home tab, then alignment is possible, okay? So alignment is located in the home tab of menu bar, okay? So alignment is located on the home tab of a menu bar, but if you don't want to go there, you can just use shortcut keys, okay? Shortcut keys will be Control plus L, right? Right will be Control plus R, right? Center will be Control plus E, okay? It's not C. And if it is justified, then Control plus J, okay? So these are the shortcut keys, okay, for alignment. So alignment is kind of important. That's why I'm explaining you very separately. So with Control plus C, we don't use Control plus C for center alignment because Control plus C is actually for copying the text, okay? Copy, right? So for center is Control plus E, okay? Can you remember that? So this is the alignment, okay? Now, so we have discussed here a few shortcut keys, right? Control L, Control E, Control R. Similar to that, there are lots of other shortcut keys, okay? These tools or the functions can be accessed from your menu bar also, okay? On the top, you can access those things. But you can do a shortcut. Why the shortcuts have been developed is in order to speed up your process, right? And plus, when it comes to exam, these shortcut keys are kind of important also. There'll be these few in NPC, you won't find questions on, as far as I've known and as far as I've seen questions, there has not been like shortcut keys have not been asked in recent past. So most of the things are related to like other things. Questions have been in NPC more towards the modern technology only. But if you're giving NSSB, these shortcut keys are very important. Okay, so I will show you. I will share to you guys later the soft copy for this Aryan. In that Aryan books, the shortcut keys have been listed down. Okay, so you can go through it. If you go through once or twice, you'll get a hang of most of the things. Okay, so this is what an MS Word document will use. Okay, now let's come to the next one, which is Microsoft Excel. Now, Microsoft Excel is another very powerful tool, okay? And in my opinion, it is more powerful even than the MS Word because you can use it for lots and lots of functions. Even in technical things, you can actually use your Microsoft Excel, right? Now, when we talk about Excel, the thing that comes to our mind is spreadsheets, right? Where everything is in the form of tabular format. So if you open your MS Excel, you will see a table, okay? And within this table, you can do a lot of things. So in this is not a typical spreadsheet, right? So a spreadsheet will consist of rows and column, okay? Now, these things are the column, okay? The vertical ones are the column. And horizontal ones are the rows, okay? So these are, column will be like this. And horizontal ones are the row, okay? So the point where one column and one row meets this, right? So this is a cell, okay? So by definition, this is the way to define the point where or the overlapping area between one cell and or one column and one row is the cell, right? So a spreadsheet is nothing but a number of cells only, right? And then you also have to remember one thing. In spreadsheet, the columns are named as A, B, C, D, okay? The columns, these are the columns. But the rows are named as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this is another keep in mind. Like it's very simple, but then in exam time this thing gets confusing. So in MS Excel or spreadsheet, the rows are named numerically, while the columns are named alphabetically, right? One good thing about MS Excel is you can even use mathematical formula, okay? So with the help of the formula, you can manage a lot of data, right? Easily. Instead of doing manual mathematical calculation, you can do you can just type that formula and then you can, when you type the formula, it's like you are asking the computer to solve it on your behalf, right? And just because it is in tabular format doesn't mean that it's restricted just to numbers and alphabets, okay? So within this MS Excel, you can even put graphs also, okay? Pictures, charts, everything can be included in the MS Excel, okay? And uh, extension file for an MS Excel is .xls or .xlsx, okay? So these are the two types of extension that you can see in an MS Excel, okay? There's no difference. This is more common. Generally, they tend to be saved as .xlx, okay? So these are the two types of extension you can find in MS Excel, okay? And one thing, when it comes to MS Word, not in the earlier thing, they are generally saved as document, right? Like Microsoft Document Word or Microsoft Word Document 1, to now there. So this is how they're generally served, but when it comes to MS Excel now, they're generally served in terms of work, okay? Oh, sorry, book one. Microsoft Excel book 1, 2 in an extension will come, okay? So this is the difference between these two things. If you open a MS Excel, so this is the windows that you will get, okay? Now, here I've shown you, right? If you open, I've told you, it will be automatically saved as, or shown as, or named as book 1. Of course, you can edit the name. That's no that's no problem. So they're generally, MS Word, it will be like Word file, right? But here we'll see in terms of book, okay? Book 1. So generally, this is how they are designated, okay? So that this section, the top section, which shows the name of the document is the title bar, okay? So title bar means it will show the name of the file as well as the name of the application, right? So this is the name of the file and this is the name of the application, right? Excel is the application. And here you can see the 3 important control button like we see in Microsoft Word, right? We have the minimize, maximize, and the close button, right? So these are the 3 control buttons that you can see in the MS Excel file. Now we have the similar to that, we have this is the menu bar. And if you open any of the options in the menu bar, like in MS Word, you will find the what is known as the ribbon. Where's the name of the ribbon? So this section is the ribbon, okay? Similar to MS Word, na? Look at the menu bar, you will see that we have the home, insert, page layout, formulas, datas, reviews, views, help, right? So these are different ways in which you can edit, right? Let me just move these ones. Now here they have click on the home button, right? It is white. So they have click on the home button. Now here there are 7 tabs, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? View, yeah. These are the 7 tabs that you can generally find in the menu bar, right? So all these things together is the ribbon. So here we have click on the home button, and home button, if you see, it is very similar to MS Word, right? You have the font size. You can bold, italic, underline it. These are the 3 alignment, okay? This is the left alignment, center alignment, or right alignment, right? That we have discussed. And so many options will be there. So wrapping the text, merge and center. So these are the options you can see in the home tab, okay? So apart from this, if you click on the insert tab is the next one. Insert tab is the next one. Here you can see things like labels, okay? Which means within a cell you can insert, within this cell, particular cell, you can even insert a table, right? So you can insert tables, illustrations, okay? In insert tab, you can find the tables, illustrations. You can insert charts, symbols, okay? So very similar to MS Word, right? Next, we have the page layout tab. Now, if you look at the page layout tab, it will have things like different types of themes, okay? The page setup, in order to set up your page, even arrange. So these are the options you can get in the page layout. Then we have the formulas. And here, this is a very, you won't find it in MS Word because in MS Word, we don't add any formulas, right? Here, because we can add formulas, there's a specific options available in the tab, right? And with the help of this formula tab, you can do things like function library. You can define certain names. You can use formula auditing. Okay, these are the things you can do in the formula tab. Then we have the data, review, view. Okay, view is only like how you want to view this page, right? This particular window, how you want to view it. These are the view tab. Okay. Then you can see sheet one, right? So which means it is at the page, this page, okay? Sheet one means page one, okay? It's very similar to that. Now you want to add another page and add another sheet, okay? Within this same, then you can just click on this plus button, okay? The plus button here, and then you can add another sheet, okay? So you can keep on adding the sheet, okay? So every sheet is like one page, okay? And if you combine all this sheet together, you will get what is known as the workbook, okay? Workbook. A workbook is nothing but a collection of worksheets only. So don't get again exam. Workbook, the term itself is also important from the perspective of exam. So this is a single sheet, okay? Here in this, what we have given in the picture is a single sheet only. So here the workbook contains only one sheet, okay? But you can keep on adding by clicking on here. You can keep on adding sheet one, sheet two, sheet three, right? And all these sheets combined together will form a single workbook, okay? And here, see, we have this is known as the row bar, okay? This particular bar, na? This, and you will see that all the rows has been named numerically, right? 1, 2, 3. Similarly, we have the column bar, okay? So here the columns have been named alphabetically, right? A, B, C, D. So if you say column G, okay, if you click on column, if you click on column P, okay, if you click here, this entire thing gets selected, okay. Similarly, if you click on row 6, this entire thing will be selected, okay. Here, one very important thing is known as the formula bar, okay. Now what we can do in the formula bar is that you can include predefined formulas, okay. So formulas, you can use it on your own, okay. That, you know, how you should write the formula has been specified within the software itself. So you have to follow that method, okay? You can't just write cushy formulas in order to get the result, okay? So, like I mentioned, the most important here is the formula bar, because which we cannot see in other MS of Word or MS spreadsheet will be, MS PowerPoint will be your formula bar, okay? And you have to, formulas are predefined, okay? Predefined. Then here we have another word known as active cell, okay? Now you see, this particular cell, that's A1, has been, the first cell has been marked green, right? Which means if you type anything from the keyboard, it will be entered in the first cell, okay, A1, because it has been selected, right? So that particular cell which is active, where work is carrying out, that cell is known as the active cell, right? Now, formulas, okay? Like I've mentioned, when it comes to formula, you can't use anything that you want, okay? There are specific formulas. Out of this, let's talk about 5 formulas, okay? The more important ones. So formulas must be added in that formula bar, okay? That particular area, which I have, highlighted earlier, that part is known as the formula bar, right? So formula must be entered in the formula bar, okay? Now say suppose you want to do a addition, okay? Some addition. Now, In your MS Excel, you want to do some addition, okay? I'll just write that. I'll just show the table part, okay? The spreadsheet part. Now say the columns are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Here it is, rows are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Now, each of this cell has a certain designation, right? The first one is A1, right? This one will be B1, C1, D1, E1. Nah, this one will be A2, A3, A4, A5, B2, B3, B4, B5. Okay. So this is how the naming of the cell takes place, right? C2, C, D2, E2. Now say suppose you want to do calculate, okay? Now like if the datas are like 3-4 entries only, 3-4 little code, it's not very difficult also, right? You can just calculate manually and do also. But the datas are very long, okay? 6 and it goes all the way to E32, okay? Now you want to calculate this, you want to plus calculate now. The formula you will enter in the formula bar will be, okay, sum is equal to sum E1. This is how a formula will look like, okay? So if you put this formula in the formula bar, you'll get the answers automatically, okay? So this is for addition, okay? This is for addition. Here we have shown an example for column, right? List of column vertically, a list of data vertically. You can do similarly like this also, okay? Horizontally, you can collect the data and do the summation also. So this is for addition, right? Now, average, okay? You want to find the average of all this data, right? Average of all this data that is from E1 to E32, whatever data you have entered, you want to find the average, Kolito. If you want to find the average, it will be is equal to average bracket E1 is to E32, okay? So this is the type of formula or the format that you should use, okay? You can't use any type of formula that you want to use, right? Now, you want to count how many cells are there, okay? If you want to count the number of cells, you will simply use COUNT E1 is to E32, right? So here we have starts from E1 to E32, so we already know it has 32 cells, right? But sometimes it will all be jumbled up together, right? So if you want to count the number of cells together, you will use this formula, okay? Now you want to, from E1 to E32, you want to find which one has the maximum number, okay, or maximum value. So in that case, you will use is equal to max E1 is to E32, okay? Similarly, if you want to find the minimum value from the given set, it should be minimum E1 to E32, okay? So kindly remember this. These are important for exam, okay? So this is the formulas that we generally use in our MS Excel, okay? So there are lots of formulas, but these are the basic formulas, okay? Especially these two things are very important. The first one. Now, let's just go through some of the terms, okay? So first is spreadsheet. Now, when we talk about spreadsheet, it simply means that it is a software tool only, okay? It is a software tool where data are entered in, in the form of tabular format, right? So that is a spreadsheet, okay? Second is cell. Now, every single unit in a spreadsheet, okay? Every single unit is a cell, okay? Every single unit is considered as a cell. Now, How do we define it? We define it as the intersection of a row and a column, okay? Now we have a row, right? And we have a column. This intersection is known as the cell, okay, by definition. See, worksheet. So when we say worksheet, it simply means the page itself, okay? Every single page. Every single page, okay? But here, when it comes to MS Word, MS Excel, the sheet, page should be sheet, right? Every single sheet is the worksheet, okay? Or you can also define it as an array of cells, okay? Then workbook. So like I mentioned earlier, workbook it is a group or collection of worksheets, okay? Worksheets in a single document. So if you compare it with a book, worksheets are like the pages, okay? And workbook is like the book that you read. So every work, just like how a book contains a number of pages, every workbook will have a number of worksheets, okay? So this is how a difference between a worksheet and a workbook will look like, okay? So row are the horizontal and column are the vertical ones, okay? And active cell the cell which we are entering data or which is being processed, okay? That is known as the active cell. With okay, for today, is there anything that you want to ask? We'll complete the remaining in the evening, okay? We'll have another class in the evening also. So a difficult topic, but the nitty-gritty things you have to be very clear, okay, in MS Word and MS Excel. And object linking and impeding. In MS Excel, right? You're talking about MS Excel? Oh. In MS Word. We'll cover that portion in tonight's class, okay? The object thing, it is possible even in both Word and Excel, right? So we'll just wind up for now, okay? I'll explain to you in the later class. Have a great day, everyone.